Hi all, it's Jamia here. Um, yeah, this is going to be a more planned thing, I think, but it's been difficult to, there's not been the energy to plan this entirely properly, so I figured I'd just get this done now rather than hanging around waiting for more time and energy that wasn't going to arrive. Um, so yeah, I think this is just like, I guess, a bit of a thing on why I like reading fan fiction. Now, I'm not the only one on the system who does, but I think I'm often the one that will kick off a binge, per se. Yeah, I don't know, it's in some ways very simple, right? It's like, cool, yeah, I get to keep existing in a world or with the characters that I like, that I enjoy, right? It's like, cool, I get more of this thing that I like, and I'm not stuck only to the canon, which sometimes goes in silly ways, right? In ways that I don't like. Yeah. So that's part of why, and the other part is just that, like, I don't know, it's like reading has for a very long time was like one of our primary hobbies. It was one of the ways any of us escaped, right? Got out of, when things had, like, when things sucked and when things were difficult, reading was a way to leave that behind, at least temporarily, to exist somewhere else. And it would be a shame to entirely lose that. And yet, actually sitting down and reading a book has become increasingly difficult over the years. It's something that is still theoretically an incredibly enjoyable experience, and something that, when it is possible, is still very much a joy, but it is something that is, yeah, it's just difficult now in ways that it never used to be. And I mean, part of that is, of course, the reduction in the desperate desire to escape. Um, you know, there are still rough days, there are still bad days, right? Things are still difficult a lot of the time, but it feels like the difficult is shared, or to where the difficult isn't necessarily, like, a lot of the difficult is just the difficult of, you know, the standard difficult of, yeah, we don't have a huge amount of money and we've got to work, right? It's the difficult that a lot of people share, or, the more unshared difficulties, most of them feel like they have, progress has been made to make them easier, right? And we're no longer in a situation where they're actively getting worse every day, you know. So that helps a lot, right? It's like things are improving on some fronts, and the fronts where they're not improving significantly tend to be the fronts where it's like, yeah, but this is a shared struggle. Like, just ignoring this is kind of just like, yeah, like, that's not a difficulty that we get away from without betraying a lot of people, without, being a traitor to, like, our core ethics. Or an actual change of how the whole world looks. So, but yeah, it does. So, kind of just escaping from that is less useful. Right? That temporary escape is useful sometimes, but is less necessary. Right? Right. And yeah, I don't know, it's just like nice to have something that's easier and lower commitment than a published novel, right? It's nice to have something where, despite often similar word counts, despite realistically similar quality of writing quite often, not always, of course, but like, a book being published does not actually guarantee good quality writing. So, like, sure, there's badly written fan fiction out there, of course there is, but like, there's badly written published novels. right? There's plenty of incredible quality writing in fanfiction if you can find it. And yeah, it's like nice and easy to get engaged with it and invested, right? Because like one of the steps on that is already done, right? Assuming it's fanfiction of something that you already like, then part of that investment work has already been done, which makes it easier, right? And like, it's also so much easier to just be like, okay, cool, yeah, but like I'm enjoying reading this, but I need to step away for a minute because I need to cook or whatever, right? That's hard to do with a book. Once we're invested, it's very hard to step away, and fanfiction provides that useful middle ground where the investment curve of energy is much simpler. You know, I mean, and then of course, right, like there is the whole, like realistically, part of it is a financial and spatial aspect, right? Like digital, realistically, digital goods and are very rarely truly owned. It's very hard to truly own a digital good because of how stuff works, and this is especially true often of ebooks, where you know it's like a subscription service or dependent on some server somewhere owned by someone else, right? Or DRM and all these things that mean that you don't actually truly own it anyway. So, or you end up with a lot of physical books, which is nice, except for the whole physical books take up a lot of space and are kind of a pain to move if you do have to move and all of this, right? Like, physical books are lovely if you can own them, but you don't have to move house with them, that's for sure. And you don't want to be living somewhere without enough space with them, that's also certain. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, yeah, fanfiction is easier in so many ways. And the ease does not come at the cost of quality, and so it's, yeah, why not take the route that's simpler, easier, cheaper, right? That still provides what's needed from reading, at least as far as I'm concerned, right? It's still a nice way to just engage with something additional, something extra, something enjoyable, something that would not exist, that does not have to exist, but does, right? And hey, other people really like this thing too, and are willing to put time and energy into creating more around that, and that's great. And I want, you know, it's lovely to be able to support that in some small way and enjoy it. And yeah, a lot of the time, like, it's just a fun way to just engage with something extra. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there should be more to say. I feel like there's more to say, but I don't have it on hand. I don't know. Go read some fanfiction. That's what I've got left to say. Go open up an AO3 tab, type in whatever media that you're like interested in, and just go read some of the fanfiction on there about that. Just do it, right? Set up the filters you want. Like, you don't want something in there, just filter it out. It's great. Right? Read the tags. Read the tags, read the title, read the blurb, read the description, right? A lot of the time, it will help you find stories that you actually want to read. It's great, right? It's so much better than a book for that, actually. Like, a title of a book will never give you content warnings, of course, right? It won't tell you what's inside in the book, right? And the back of the book is unlike to give you content warnings. So you've got to open the book if you want to find them, right? It won't even then necessarily tell you everything, or the area that you might be concerned about, depending on a number of factors, right? But like, and obviously not every fanfiction writer, or not every website does this, very fanfiction website does this well, but like, AO3 tends to be pretty good on this. A lot of the people on AO3 are pretty good about this, right? At the very least, the, you know, content with the warning system is quite good, right? It's a good way to be like, okay, I want to be certain this doesn't occur. So I'm going to stick to fics that very explicitly do not have this warning in there. Or if you want to read about a thing, So for things with the right, you can explicitly include things as well. It's kind of nice. And yeah, that's like just not anywhere near as doable with other forms of media often, which is wild to think about because it's like how is this work that is being put out for free purely on passion on a website run on donations and nothing and donations and spite effectively the that has, I mean, an unfortunately complicated legal basis, right? Like, it's wild that that is where this happens. This space where you would expect there to be far less space for those additional, the additional work that is being done there, and yet that's where it's done. It's proof once again that actually, once you remove money from things, once you let people do things for passion, right? That like things are just better that way. Actually, right? Things are better when they are done for reasons outside of finance. Finance is a terrible motivator, right? It does not spark creativity. It does not spark joy. What it, and yeah, I don't know. Like, it's not the only place you see this, but obviously by any means. But like, fanfiction is such a clear demonstration of the fact that actually, if you do just leave people be and let them be, they can and will and do, right, tend to take their free time to create art. Art that they care about, art that other people care about. And like, they don't need a paycheck for it. They just do it. And like, that's so cool and such a reminder of how bad this whole how non-functional this idea that people need to be paid for everything is. This, yeah, I don't know. This I was not intending to turn this into a rant on the economics of things. I just want to say fanfiction is cool. Go read fanfiction. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna stop now yeah before I keep rambling about secondary topics for even longer. I don't know. Yeah, go read fanfictions. This system signing out. Hope to catch you all next week. Please do remember to like, subscribe, comment, especially if you've got any questions you want answered. Be happy to answer them either in the comments or in another video. So catch you all next week.